Good day everyone. I am Anja Nicole H. Custuya from BS Bio 2B. And I am going to discuss the characteristics of phylum chordates. Chordates are one of the most diverse and successful of all animal groups. They include animals with the most complex body organization in the whole of the animal kingdom. Example, the birds and mammals, which have high metabolic rates, stable body temperatures, extremely efficient blood circulation systems, and highly developed nervous and hormonal systems. However, chordates also contains many apparently simple creatures that superficially resemble worms and other higher invertebrates. Chordate characteristics. So, all animals of phylum Chordata must have during all or part of their development life cycle. So the following are the notochord, the pharyngeal gillate, dorsal tubular nerve cord, and the postnasal tail. The notochord. So notochord or back cord is a slender root cartilage-like connective tissue lying the dorsal side of the body and extending most of the length of the animals and runs beneath the nerve cord. And it is regarded as an early endoskeleton and has the function of such in the protochordates. So, in more complex vertebrates, the notochord is only present in the embryo development and not during the adulthood. So, in some less complex vertebrates, the notochords persist throughout the life cycle and is found during the embryo development and adult stages. So for those animals in which persist into the adult form, the notochord provides supports. It acts as like our backbone and it increases the swimming efficiency. So in most animals, bony structures called vertebrae develop near the notochord and eventually replace it during the embryogenesis. The second characteristics of phylum chordates is the pharyngeal gill slits. So it is a series of paired slender openings that connect the inside of the pharynx or throat to the outside of the neck. So in complex vertebrates, they only appear in the embryonic stages. The morphological equivalent of gill slits are seen briefly during the human development, week 4 to 5, but they usually close or develop into the other structure. Occasionally, slits do not close, resulting in a newborn having an opening in the neck area, a cervical fistula. So, in many chordates, the gill slits never break through from the pharynx, but merely form pouches that have no function. They have been modified extensively in the course of evolution. So, in primitive chordates, this serves as the passageway for water into the gills of many aquatic chordates and facilitates filter feeding in the protochordates. In fishes and some amphibians, the slits bear gills and used for the gas exchange. In most land living chordates, the gill slits are present only in embryonic stages and you had pharyngeal slits at one time. The slits are supported by the gill arches, which have also been highly modified in various groups of vertebrates. The third characteristics of phylum chordates is the dorsal tubular nerve cord. It is a bundle of nerve fibers which runs down the back, lying dorsal to the digestive tract in contrast to the ventral, solid nerve cord of the most invertebrates. It has a fluid-filled cavity with a pair of nerve branching from it at intervals and running to the muscles. The anterior end of the nerve cord is often enlarged into a brain. So along with the brain, it forms the thin S. The last characteristics is the post-anal tail. The post-anal tail is the extension of notochord and the nerve cord past the anus. This feature may or may not persist in the adult. Example is lost in the adult stages of many chordates such as frogs and people. It serves as means of propulsion in water. So in human, the tail is short and fused. Other general chordate characteristics is the deuterostomate embryo development and the eucomic body cavity. Deuterostomes, the anus develops before the mouth in early embryonic stages as opposed to protostomes. Eucomic body cavity, nervous system most highly developed of all animal phyla, consisting of central nervous system of brain and dorsal tubular nerve cord. That ends my discussion. Thank you guys for listening and watching. Bye!
So good afternoon everyone. I'm Cherry and Lorente, the reporters of subphylum vertebrates. So, so subphylum vertebrates, subphylum vertebrata is a taxonomic classification that includes animals with a backbone or spinal column. So, vertebrates are characterized by having a well-developed internal skeleton made of bone or cartilage, so, which provides support and protection for the body. Then, this subphylum encompasses diverse range of animals including fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals, and also have a highly developed nervous system with a brain enclosed in a skull and sophisticated sensory organs. So, general characteristics of vertebrates. So, exhibit all five chordate characteristics at sometimes in their lives. So, in the subphylum vertebrates, animals exhibit five key characteristics at different points in their lives. So these characteristics define the group of and including having a notochord, dorsal hollow nerve cord, and pharyngeal slit, and a false anal tail and segment body. So next is develop brain and sensory structure. So brain is typically in a protective structure known as the skull. So ang skull is a bony or cartilaginous structure that surrounds and protect the brain. And then notochord replaced by vertebrate column or backbone. So makuha niya siya feature found in during their embryonic development. Then skull or cranium is may pagka-same din pa siya na this structure is hollow that runs along the dorsal the dorsal side of the organism. And then pharyngeal gill slits is a feature found during their embryonic development. So these structures are openings in the pharynx behind the mouth and nasal cavity. So next is muscles are attached to the skeleton to provide movement. So the interaction between muscles and bones allows vertebrates to perform wide range of movement. So structure located behind the mouth and nasal cavity serving as a pathway for food and air. Then circulatory system with a well-developed muscular heart, skin, gills, or lungs. So the evolutionary relationship of the vertebrates. So excuse me. Speculations regarding vertebrate ancestors have focused on living cephalic dates and tunicates. So it's provide insight to the origin and diversification of this diverse group of animals. And then one hypothesis on the evolution of the vertebrates is mm, Garstang's hypothesis. So Garstang hypothesis, proposed by British geologist and embryologist Walter Garstang in the early 20th century. So, is a significant theory on the evolution of vertebrates. So, Garstang hypothesis on the evolution of vertebrates includes the larval evolution. So, Garstang proposed that larval forms of invertebrate organisms. So, particularly tonicate sea squirts and echinoderms such as sea stars. And then, sessile tonicates involve a motil larval stage. So, also known as sea squirts or ascidians. So, these organisms are known for their unique life cycle. So, it includes motil larval stage that contrast with their adult sessile form. So, Gerson called the process pedomorphosis, a term that describes the evolutionary retention of juvenile or larval traits in the adult body. So that's all. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. At this moment, we're going to tackle about the invertebrates chordates. First, we will going to tackle about the subphylum Chordata, or the tunicates or sea squirts. Invertebrates chordates or the phylum Tunicata, also called the Chordata, have between 2,000 and 3,000 species. They are suspension feeders dwelling in marine environments with specialized external covering for food filtration. Tunicata organisms may live either alone or in colonies and divide into three classes: the Acidacea, Thaliacea, and Larvaceae. Tunicata acidacea. Acidacea, commonly known as acidaceans, is a paraphyletic class in the subphylum Tunicata of sac-like marine invertebrate filter feeders. Acidaceans are characterized by a tough outer tunic made of polysaccharides. These animals are sessiles as adult, meaning that they have stay in one place by anchoring themselves to rock or other firm underwater surfaces. The sac-like body of this tourniquet is encased in a material composed of protein and carbohydrate compounds similar to cellulose. This casing is called tonic and varies in thickness, toughness, and transparency. Between species within the tonic is the body wall, which has thick and thin epidermis layers. The thin outer layer secretes the compounds that become the tonic, while the thicker inner layer contains the nerves, blood vessels, and muscles. Acidaceans have a U-shaped body wall with two openings called siphons, which take water and push out waste in water. Acidation are also called sea squirts because of how they use their muscles to forcefully eject water through their siphons. Within the body wall is a large cavity or atrium containing a large pharynx. The pharynx is a muscular tube that leads to the gut. Tiny pores in pharynx, such as unicellular algae from the water. The inner wall of the pharynx is covered with tiny hairs called cilia, and the thin mucous lining produced by the intestine. The second subphylum Euchordata is the Tunicata thaliacea. Thaliacea is the class of marine animals within subphylum Tunicata, comprising the salps, pyrosomes, and doliulids. Unlike benthic relatives, the adhesions from which they are believed to have emerged, thaliacea are free-floating for their entire lifespan. Tunicata class, although thaliacea includes doliulids, salps, and pyrosomes. Doliulids are very tiny animals measuring 1 to 2 cm length with cylindrical bodies that resembles barrels. Cellular bands of muscle of the body resembles the bands of the barrel, further contributing to its barrel-like appearance. The third subphylum Euchordata is the Tunicata larvaceae. Larvaceans, or the appendicularians, class Appendicularia, are solitary free-swimming tourniquets found throughout the world oceans. While larvaceans are filter feeders, like most of tourniquets, they keep their tadpole-like shape as adults, with the notochord running through the tail. Organisms in the class Larvaceae, also known as Appendiculari, are unique from other species of phylum Tunicata in that they retain their chordates feature throughout adulthood. These filter feeders reside within the external gelatinous casing called a house, that it is secreted by the body. The house contains two external openings near the head, an elaborate external filtration system, and an external opening near the tail. Larvaceans move forward through the open sea using their tails. Water is pulled through the external opening, allowing for filtration of tiny organisms such as phytoplankton and bacteria from the water. Should the filtration system become clogged, the animal can cast off the old house and secrete a new one. Larvaceans do so several times a day. Unlike the Tunicata larvaceans, produced by only sexual reproduction. Most of hermaphrodites, meaning that they contain both male and female gonads. Filtration occurs externally as sperms and eggs are broadcast into open sea. Self-filtration is prevented by alternating the release of sperm and eggs. Sperm is released first, followed by the release of eggs, which result in the death of the parent. And now we're done up to the subphylum Euchordata. Let's proceed to subphylum Cephalochordata. Cephalochordata is a subphylum in phylum Chordata. The animals belonging to this subphylum are known as cephalochordates, lancellates, and amphibians. They are marine animals that possesses a segmented and elongated body. They also contain a notochord that extends from the head to tail. Cephalochordates represents a small chordate subphylum with around 32 species. These tiny invertebrates resembles fish and can be found living in the sand in shallow tropical and temperature waters. Cephalochordates are commonly referred as a lancelet, with represent the most common cephalochordate species, Branchiodonta Toma lanceolatus. Unlike most Tournicata species, these animals retain the four main chordate characteristics as adult. They have notochord, dorsal nerve cord, gill slits, and post-anal tail. The name cephalochordate is derived from the fact that notochord extend well into the head. Lancelets are filter feeders that bury their bodies in the ocean floor with their hands remaining above the sand. They filter food from the water as it passes through their open mouth. Like fish, lancelets have fins and block of muscles arranged breathing segments along the body. These features allow for coordinated movement while swimming through the water to filter food to escape predators. Lancelets reproduce sexually and have separate males and females. Filtration occurs externally as sperms and eggs are released into the open water. Once an egg is fertilized, it develops into free-swimming larva feeding plankton suspended in the water. Eventually, the larva goes through metamorphosis and it becomes an adult living mainly the near ocean floor. That's all in the invertebrate chordates. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Junior Shahai, and today I will be the one to discuss the 7 different classes that belongs to phylum Chordata. Phylum Chordata is the most diverse phylum in kingdom Animalia that composed of 7 different classes that includes class Agnatha, class Chondrichthyes, class Ostichthyes, class Amphibia, class Reptilia, class Aves, and last but not the least, where human being belong, class Mammalia. So, the first class in phylum Chordata is class Agnatha. This class is the earliest vertebrates composed of jellyfish. This member of fish do not have stomach because they only have a simple digestive system. And instead of stomach, they have a straight tube-like structure that called intestine that allows them to process and absorb the nutrients from their food. So, the next characteristic of class Agnatha is that their notochord is flexible rod-like cord of cells that provides main support for the body of an organism during the embryonic period. Most of agnathans also have a skeleton made of cartilage and 7 or more Purgill's packets. So their cartilage is runs along with the length of their body, which helps them or allows them to move efficiently and navigate to their aquatic environment and also helps to thrive for their habitat. And the next characteristic for class Agnatha is that they have a pineal eye. This pineal eye located at the pineal gland which serve as their third eye. Next, their fertilization also takes place outside their body because they exhibit an external fertilization. When we say external fertilization, it is when the female and male release their gamete into their surrounding water, which allows the egg and the sperm to fertilize outside their body. I have here a 2 example for class Agnatha. First is lamprey. Lamprey looks like an eel but has a jelly-sucking mouth that attaches to a fish. They are parasite which sucks tissues and fluid out of the fish they attach to. As you can see in the illustration, their mouth has a ring of cartilage that support it rows of their horny teeth, which is this horny teeth is used to latch on the fish they attach. The second example for class Agnatha is the hagfish. Hagfish is known as a limefish. It is an L-like and pinkish in color. They have a glands along its sides that produces a sticky slime which they use as defense mechanism. This organism is completely blind but has a good sense of touch and smell, which they use their tentacles also around their mouth to feel for food. And the next class for phylum Chordata is the class Chondrichthyes. Class Chondrichthyes are aquatic animals lack of bone and have a skeleton made of cartilage. They are vertebrates with paired fins, paired nerves, placid scales, honus arterius in the heart, and lack of opicula and swim bleeders. Example of this class are sharks, rays, and skates. As you can see, as we know that these organisms are lack of bone but has a cartilage. The third class for phylum Chordata is the class of stitch ties. Class of stitch ties is the class of jeweled fish having a bony endoskeleton. In this class, paired and medium fins are present, which are supported by long rays of cartilage or bone. They also contain a swim bleeder or air bleeder. The swim bleeder provides buoyancy to them to prevent them from sinking, whereas the air bleeder helps them to facilitate gaseous exchange. An example of this class is the sea bream, seahorse, and salmon. The class of stitch ties has two subclasses. First is the Sarcopterygiae. Sarcopterygiae are bony fish with lobe-paired fins which are joined to the body by a single bone and two dorsal fins with separate bases. These lobe-fin fishes have fleshy muscular fins that are supported by a series of bones to allow the fish to have a greater control and flexibility in their movement, making them better adapted for navigating complex environments such as shallow waters or muddy bottoms. The second subclass of class ostrich ties is the Actinopterygiae. This class known as ray finfish, a most common type of fish on the planet. This class are characterized by their fins, which are supported by bony rays or spines. These bony rays are connected by thin membrane, giving the fins a fan-like appearance. They also have ability to move their fins independently, allowing for precise control of their movements and enables them to swim with agility and perform various swimming styles such as rapid bursts of speed or slow graceful movement. The fourth class of phylum Chordata is the class Amphibia. Class Amphibia are animals that can live in water and have lungs and legs. They are called amphibians due to their double circulation or having a double life. Their eggs also do not have a shell to prevent water loss. So, so the embryos must be developed in wet environment. They are also an ectotherm. When we say ectotherm, they are organisms that rely on external sources of heat to regulate their body temperature. Amphibians also have permeable skin, which allows them to respire by transferring oxygen and carbon dioxide and allows them also to uptake chemicals in the environment. The fifth class of phylum Chordata is the class Reptilia. Class Reptilia are cold-blooded animals that are incapable of regulating their own body temperature. Reptiles are born with lungs and have a scale and dry skin. Unlike the class Amphibia, class Reptilia lay egg with leathery shell that protects the developing embryo. They are also capable of shedding their skin as they grow throughout the life to maintain their optimal health. And the sixth class for phylum Chordata is the class Aves. Class Aves are endothermic vertebrate, have a feeder. They also have a four-chambered heart. Their bones are lightweight and usually hollow. Their forelimbs also are modified as wings, allowing them to fly. They also lay eggs covered by calcium shell, and they also have beaks or bills with no teeth. Examples of this class are the birds. And last but not the least class that belongs to phylum Chordata is the class Mammalia. Class Mammalia are endothermic vertebrates that have the ability to regulate their own body temperature internally. They also have hair and fur in their body. Mammals have a mammary glands, and 4 chambered heart. They have also a sebaceous, sudoriferous, and sweat glands. When we say sebaceous, it is the glands that produce sebum, an oily substance that help for lubrications. And sudoriferous glands are known as sweat glands, responsible of producing sweats that helps to regulate body temperature and maintain fluid balance. They have also a heterodont dentition and possess diaphragm. Most of mammalia or organisms under the class Mammalia are known as bilaterally symmetrical. The class Mammalia have 3 subclasses. First is the Eutheria, a major division of mammals characterized by the attachment of developing fetus to the maternal uterus. Mammals under this subclass give birth to young ones which develop inside the mother and derive nutrition through the placenta. Examples of these are the babies. The second subclass is the Metatheria. Mammals belong to this subclass give birth to immature young ones. Hence, they stay in the mother pouch until they become mature. And lastly is the Prototheria. They are also known as monotribes, the subclass that consists of egg-laying mammals that belongs to order Monotremata.
So good afternoon everyone, I am Margie Morales Cabadonga and this is just a continuation in our report, and my assigned topic is all about reproduction or the life cycle of phylum Chordata. So the reproduction in chordates varies depending on the specific class, but there are some in general. First is the fertilization. So in most cases, fertilization is external. So meaning the sperm meets the egg outside the body in the water. So this is common among fishes, amphibians, and some invertebrates within the phylum. Next is the internal fertilization. So it is where sperm fertilizes the egg inside the female's body. So it is seen in reptiles, birds, and mammals. So let's move on to the sexes. So chordates can be either dioecious, or which means having separate sexes, or hermaphroditic, or which means they having both male and female reproductive organs. And however, even hermaphrodites may not self-fertilize and may require a mate. So let's move on to the larval stage. So many chordates go through a larval stage, a young form that looks different from the adult and has a different lifestyle. So this is especially true for the aquatic species. So the more larvae may have special features for feeding and dispersal that the adults lacks. So here's a breakdown of reproduction and life cycle variations among the subphyla of chordates. So let us first tackle the subphylum Urochordata or the tunicates. So most tunicates are hermaphroditic, meaning as what I have said earlier, diba, na ang hermaphroditic is naa siya'y male and female reproductive organs, and they can reproduce sexually and asexually. So in sexual reproduction, fertilization is external. Tunicates have a complex life cycle that include a free-swimming tadpole larva, and the larva eventually settles on the seafloor and transform into a sessile adult. And sessile adult lose most of their chordate characteristics. So next is the subphylum Cephalochordata or the lancelets. So lancelets are small worm-like filter feeders that live in burrows in the ocean floor, and they have separate sexes, and their fertilization is also external. Lancelets lack a larval stage and develop directly into adults. So next is the subphylum Vertebrata. Reproduction in vertebrates is the most complex among chordates and varies greatly depending on the class. Most vertebrates have separate sexes and internal fertilization. Vertebrates may lay eggs in water or on land, or give birth to live young. Many vertebrates go through a complex embryonic development processes that includes a larval stage. And here are some additional points to note about chordate reproduction. So first is the parental care. So the amount of parental care varies greatly among chordates. Some fish and amphibians simply abandon their eggs after spawning, while other vertebrates, such as birds and mammals, provide extensive care for their young. So next is the adaptation for reproduction. So chordates have evolved a wide variety of adaptations for reproduction, such as courtship rituals, internal fertilization, and the development of placentas in mammals. So in conclusion, the reproduction and life cycle of chordates is complex and fascinating topic. The diversity of reproductive strategies within this phylum reflects the long evolutionary history and adaptation of chordates to a wide variety of environments. And that ends our presentation about phylum Chordata. Thank you.